fastest anyone's ever done to 5 million.
Correct. Facebook took about 10 months to get to 1 million.
Yeah.
Twitter took a couple of years. Now, in fairness, a little bit of a different time. Smartphones are a bit different, but it just shows you the scale and how quickly it's moving. And I think it's because we're at the convergence of what's hot politically, but also what's hot with the economy.
Jason, didn't you get like 1 million on day one or week one, something like that? How did you guys do on, how long did it take to get to 1 million?
3 days.
3 days to 1 million.
3 days.
Was that because of Joe Rogan, or that had nothing to do with Joe?
So Joe came along 6 months later, although we're 1 million in 3 days, 1.5 million in about 10 days. We're 3 million people at the end of this last year, end of 2021. After Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson and Dr. Robert Malone and some other folks, we grew by 50% by 1.5 million users just in the month of January of this year. So we're off to a great start, and the surge is real.
So go ahead.
Do you think that's a function of economic supply and demand? There's a major demand for a free speech platform. Is there something specific about GETTR that people said, I got to get on that specific platform? Or was it just sort of a sign of the times where it's like, look, clearly the big tech overlords are sort of limiting and shadow banning, and hey, here's a cool new platform I can check out? What's the unique proposition?
Well, both. And the reason why I say that is I always kind of use the analogy to channel my inner George Bailey, that every time Twitter or Facebook or YouTube kicks someone off of their platform, another GETTR angel gets its wings. And so it might be terrible for democracy, but when they kick people off, they look and say, you know what else is there? They see GETTR and they want to come on board. But part of the reason is, and Patrick, you hit on this in a really great segment about a year ago, where you said, I'm tired of Republicans whining and saying, big tech, you're bad, but then not doing anything about it. I've heard that, and I said, you know what? I am going to do it. I'm going to put some money behind it. I'm going to go build a real platform. Here's the one dynamic I would have added to your very eloquent going off of a year ago. People have come up with alternative platforms before, but the user interface hasn't been that good. The functionalities look clunky, kind of junior varsity or B team. Nobody looks and says, hey, Twitter, your functionality is poor, your user experience is poor, I want to go to some other platform. They say, I'm tired of the political discrimination, I want to move. When you launch a new platform, you have to be as good, if not better, as the big tech platforms if you want users to stay. Even if people are turned off ideologically by what Twitter's doing, it has to be a top-notch product, and that's what we've set out to do with GETTR.
So first of all, I applaud you for doing that, because I think the fact that somebody is saying, let me go out there and do this, everybody's talking, let me do something about it and create another alternative for them. So, and I think in today's climate, the current CEO of Twitter probably helps you more than Dorsey does, because he seems to be more about what account got canceled yesterday? 336,000 followers, or 2 days ago, just because they took a screenshot of other people's tweets and they shut them down.
Yeah. So for anyone who's watching or listening, there's an account called Defiant L's. Defiant, and then a capital L apostrophe S. This is a great account where all they do is say, here's a tweet from, Defiant L's.
Oh, they're back.
They're back now.
That's phenomenal.
And they're also on GETTR. Just for anyone watching, Defiant L's is on GETTR, which is great. So they were never canceled there.
That's crazy, because they were at 335 2 days ago. They're at 510 now. So this cancellation got them more eyeballs.
So that went to your point also from your segment from a year ago, where you said, do you just elevate people off of some of these cancellations? Which the answer is yes. I mean, take a look at Nicki Minaj, for example, or Kyrie Irving. Not two people who you'd say have traditional bases of support, say in the right of center type space. True. But now that there were efforts to try to cancel them because of their positions on COVID vax treatments, things like that, now they become almost pop culture heroes. And sometimes they don't even have to be someone who's take a look at Enes Kanter Freedom, who was with the Boston Celtics and then was just released by the Rockets, and what pretty clearly is a retaliatory pushback because he's been going off on the NBA and China, and we'll get into China a little bit more later. He's now a hero to people all over the world because he's standing up to the CCP. So some of these efforts to cancel people, but I want to stick on the Define L's for one moment, just to tell you how the idiocy of what's going on here. All this account does, I shouldn't say all because that discounts it, but what they do is they take an old tweet and a current tweet, and it's just basically the person taking a loss. Here's where they've contradicted themselves. And some of these things that they find are so damning, like you don't know whether to laugh or to cry, that some of these people...
You're saying it's contradictory, but it's
yes,
hypocrisy.
But all it does is post what someone said before and what they're saying now, just to absolutely thunder these people. And they got taken down literally for just posting, just taking screenshots from Twitter.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.